You mentioned AI there as well.
It is going to change the way payroll is done, definitely. Technology, every week something is happening, and I'm like, oh wow, that's going to transform it. But it will be gradual. But it's all, I think, it will speed things up. It will make things more efficient, more accurate, and then that allows the people to focus on looking after the clients. The explaining,
like having
things.
That relationship. with them.
Building the relationship. That's how we see it as we grow, and hopefully, obviously, you guys would benefit with your clients from that just by using technology to support what we're offering, but not to take away the human aspect of it.
I think you're right.
Hello and welcome back to the Ledger Lounge. I'm Katie and I'm here with Matthew.
Hi.
And Natalie from Payroll Sorted.
Hello.
Hi.
Payroll Sorted are our outsourced payroll provider, and effectively we provide outsourced payroll to clients, but via you. No,
Yes, for 3 years now, as we discovered earlier.
3 years, yes.
Yeah.
Maybe more.
I suppose start off Payroll Sorted. Who are they?
Well, you kind of hit the nail on the head with the outsourced payroll provider for accountants. That's where we specialise. So when we first started, probably 11, 12 years ago, we were actually bookkeeping and payroll. Right. And then about 6 years ago, we decided actually let's focus on one area. And that's when we started working specifically with accountants for payroll. So it's been quite a journey since then. That's where our kind of growth strategy is, supporting accountants in providing payroll services, because it is a big burden for you, which hence why you started working with us. It's one of those pain points that both the end client and the accountants providing the service have. So that's kind of where we're aiming our target at.
I think that was a huge motivator for us. That I think it was early 2023 when we started talking to you.
It happened quite quickly as well, didn't it?
Did.
I don't feel like we were talking for long before you went, actually, we're just going to do this. It was quite quick.
I think it was our internal recruitment issues that let's have a look at another option. So we had a bit of a revolving door. We had a very stable workforce in our payroll team. Yeah. And then after that, it became a bit of a revolving door for a little while. And then you've got to look at other options. Yeah,
and it's quite hard finding payroll people locally as well. I don't know if you've found that, but we're now national, so we've got payroll professionals across the country. But when we were recruiting just in our local area and wanting them to be in the office, that's where we were really struggling. So I think if a lot of accountants like to have their payroll people in the office with them, and then they realise actually it doesn't have to be that way, and that's when they start exploring different options. So
we started working with a client a few weeks ago, and one of their pain points was that their accountant had an office-based single person who could do payroll. Yeah. And so if they took holidays, I think it even got to the point where the payroll just didn't get run, and it's like...
Oh my God, really? Yeah. A lot of the time, the wider team have to pick it up. So with people that are maybe better focused elsewhere are then trying to scrabble through and getting the payrolls out the door.
That's what we used to have to do when we had payroll in-house.
You have to step in.
Someone would be off in payroll sick or on holiday, and I had to get Brendan. Can you run the payroll, Kate? And I'm all right.
But it's stressful, isn't it? If you're not used to doing it as well, and you're kind of stepping in and out of it now and again, it isn't a nice environment to be in. It's high pressure, and when it goes wrong, it goes horribly wrong. So it's not a very safe place to be.
And if you roll back 20 years, payroll is so much more complex now than it was. We didn't have minimum wage. We didn't have workplace pensions. All of these things all add up to, and it's all compliance issues that. If you've not got the skill to do it, you've either got to upskill or find somebody better to do it for you.
And it is interesting because it's more complicated in lots of ways, but obviously there's loads of software and things that do a lot of the legwork for you now. But I think that's a mistake people often make as well. Oh, just press of a button as every payroll person cringes as you say that.
It can't be that difficult.
But it is. And as soon as you come away from a director-only payroll and you start getting pensions and payrolling benefits and national minimum wage and all that, it can get messy very quickly. And I think people quite often start doing their own payroll and then go, oh my God, this is a lot more than I realised. And that's when they start looking to work with, their accountants normally to say, can you help me with this? Because I've got in a muddle.
I think some people also don't realise that they're doing it wrong from the beginning, if they've always done it themselves.
Yeah, that is quite common. We quite often pick up.
We can probably relate to that as well. Another client.
Or not understanding what is compliance or not, and just think, take that off this week. Yeah. I'll put it on next week. So,
Pensions is definitely one where a lot of business owners go, oh, no, I'm not doing that. Just not doing that. And you're like, you can't just not do that to be compliant. And they're like, oh. It's just that if you don't know, you don't really know about it.
Yeah, you can't just ignore it, can you?
No.
And I just think the whole thing, pay-as-you-earn compliance, pension compliance, and national minimum wage.
Yeah.
Add all that in.
Yeah.
And those are the huge sort of pain points that small businesses find.
Yeah. And things like salary sacrifice now are getting more and more popular. And it's hot. If you're in payroll, salary sacrifice is salary sacrifice. But if you don't know about it, then even just setting it up in the software sometimes can get people in a muddle. So, and it's something they want to be able to offer their staff, but don't want to get into the ins and outs of how you do it and what that involves. So, hopefully.
Yeah, that's definitely become something since the rise in employers' national insurance last
we've
last
seen
April.
a lot of people more interested.
A big thing. But I think, did I read somewhere that there might be a threat to salary sacrifice in the budget? But then there's probably a threat to everything in the budget.
Yeah, I'm just not really paying attention to the budget until it comes out because speculation scares me.
And that might get cut out because this might go out after the budget and therefore...
cut that bit. But no, it is definitely a complicated service that a lot of people think is just straightforward until they get into the nuts and bolts of it, and then they're like, oh God, I don't want to do this. Like, why did I ever start running my own payroll?
Yeah. We had it where you used to have to spend, an hour or 2 hours every week checking, only for one client at a time, the payroll reports to make sure that it was being compliant, it was applying national minimum wage and
you've just
holiday calculations.
You've just triggered me as well there. I
PTSD.
think another pain point was, and I think it was the one that broke me, was the furlough.
Oh yeah,
COVID furlough.
That was fun.
And we nearly brought the whole firm, didn't it? Because those first couple of weeks after that, we were doing.
All we was doing was furlough claims because it was literally it was just constant, like a revolving door, wasn't it?
Yeah. And no one even knew what the word meant at the time, did they? It came in and there's, oh my God. And we actually took on one of our first partners about a week before lockdown, and they had like 300 clients or something, and then we had to do furlough, and we were like, we'd have committed, so we had to do it. But that was stressful.
Yeah, I bet they were sat on a beach and
I think they were just like, thank God we did that when we did it.
Yeah,
like the timing for them was good.
Incredible.
Saved them a lot of work.
If only I'd known.
Absolutely. You're a bit late to the party.
Yeah, we won't be bothered if it happens now. We've got payroll sorted.
It'll be our problem.
So I suppose if you're leaving somebody else to do your payroll, you've got to maintain control, and that can be quite difficult, I suppose.
Mm-hmm. So from a client perspective, they obviously need to have control over their own payroll because they're the ones that the employees are going to be coming to with questions and wanting to know why they haven't been paid or whatever. But it's finding a balance between having the control from the client side through to the payroll provider, whether that's an accountant or an outsourced provider like ourselves. And I think you have to have the systems and processes between you that work well for both sides. It does have to be kind of a mutual beneficial arrangement because you can't be everything for everyone. So I think from an end client perspective, they need to really understand what the processes are with the provider that they're working with, what the deadlines are, how the data needs to be delivered. And then that gives them a sense of control around it because they feel there's an agreement and trust there in how they're going to actually get their payroll each month. But it is a balance. Like I say, you can't be everything for everyone. So one client might want to submit their data in a spreadsheet. One might want to send it via email. And then if you try and put one rigid structure in for everybody, you can then get a little bit of friction there as well. So it is finding a way that works for both sides. And clients need to also understand that although they're outsourcing, they do still have an element of responsibility there to be checking it themselves, to make sure that the provider has done what they intended them to do, because sometimes there can be a misinterpretation. Someone's written something in a particular way on an email and the person processing it has read it a different way. So it's definitely a relationship that's there rather than just a transactional run the payroll, get it back out the door. But when it goes well, you don't hear anything. It just runs smoothly and ticks over. And then, as soon as something isn't quite right, it's how you respond to it that's the key thing, so the client doesn't feel like they're not going to be able to deliver their payroll to their staff.
So if something does go wrong, it's ultimately the client's responsibility, I guess.
It's shared. So if as a payroll provider we've made a mistake, we will own that mistake. I think the key thing you need to do when you're in a a service is to just admit it. If you've made a mistake, it's how you then deal with it that makes the difference. So, for example, with us, and you guys probably know this, if we make an error on a payroll, we have a 90-minute turnaround to get it back out the door. So we will review it, because quite often someone will say you've made a mistake and then we're like, we haven't, but we will get it changed for you. But if we have, the key thing is we get it fixed and we get it back out to the client as quickly as possible to reassure them that we do take it seriously. And we always look at prevention as well, like how did it happen? How did we make that mistake? And the team are humans at the end of the day, you know, hopefully, you know, we won't be all replaced by AI one day, but, you know, they will make mistakes, but we do everything possible to avoid it. We invest heavily in a quality control team, which is something you guys obviously have access to that maybe wouldn't have otherwise had if you were doing it in-house as well.
I think that's really something that we benefit from.
Yeah.
And therefore our clients benefit from is your expertise, your knowledge.
Yeah.
And those systems where you've got that quality control.
Yeah,
check
definitely.
in there.
But also, if you have someone in-house, whether that's a business or in your situation, is you would have maybe 1 or 2 people. With outsourcing, we've got a team of 30 people. There is that continuity of service, but also a broad reach of expertise as well, of different people with different skill sets within the business. So it's just, it makes you feel a bit safer, I suppose, that you're going to be able to get your payroll and get questions answered as well.
You mentioned AI there as well.
It is going to change the way payroll is done, definitely. Technology, every week something is happening, and I'm like, oh wow, that's going to transform it. But it will be gradual. But it's all, I think, it will speed things up. It will make things more efficient, more accurate, and then that allows the people to focus on looking after the clients. The explaining
having
things.
that relationship. With them.
Building the relationship. That's how we see it as we grow, and hopefully, obviously, you guys would benefit with your clients from that, just by using technology to support what we're offering, but not to take away the human aspect of it.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that's where we see it, isn't it, Kate? It's, let's use AI for the mundane, the processing.
Yeah, repetitive tasks that no one wants to do.
And the boring things.
Yeah,
let's make our lives fun. Let's make accountancy fun again.
Yeah. But it's true, isn't it? Like, if you're doing things that you don't need to be doing, when your time could be spent elsewhere, why wouldn't you embrace technology to do it? But there is this conception from clients sometimes that it's not personal. But you have to sort of relay that to them, that we're using technology so that we can be more personal, to free up our time so we can spend more time looking after you as a client. But yeah, people are afraid of technology sometimes.
Let's say I was a new business. I'd just probably gone to James Scott, got an accountant.
Yeah.
Was thinking about setting up payroll and taking staff on. How would I approach it?
Good question. You could have a go yourself, and lots of people do. I think if it's a really basic payroll, like a director-only payroll, and you're using Xero, you could initially maybe do it yourself. But it is something you've still got to think about. You've got RTI deadlines. If you start taking on staff, you then need to think about, how do I actually add a new starter? What do I need to do with pension auto-enrollment? So I think there gets a point where you need to think, do I want to be spending my time on payroll and making sure that I'm being compliant and meeting deadlines, or do I want someone else to just help me do that? And I think it's at that point you'd have to go, right, I maybe need to think about outsourcing, because you don't want to be spending too much time on payroll.
And that's when we would then, well, the accountant or us would say, right, we've got payroll sorted. The form's not very big, is it, to fill out? It's a couple of questions. And
but even for like director payrolls, it is just, it's a pain if you've got to remember to do something with it. So, you know, even just outsourcing, or you guys doing the director payrolls, I think is just one less thing for them to think about, because you're advising how much they should pay themselves, because you know their wider tax affairs situation. And then it's literally just, let's just produce that payslip each month. We do all the submissions, and they don't have to think about it. Doing year end and P60s
it's all
and things.
streamlined and done.
Yeah.
No penalties.
No penalties. And I think, but then, as you say, when you get employees on, I think that's when it starts to get a bit more emotive, I think, is where you want everything to be done correctly.
That, have you ever taken on payrolls where the clients come to you who've run it themselves and it's been
all the time
totally wrong.
Yeah, and not always totally wrong, but sometimes just months are missed, like the submission's been missed here and there, or maybe they didn't really know at the time they didn't have an accountant and they've not put themselves on the most tax efficient salary, so then we're having to roll back and redo the year and things like that. So I think if you're starting out a business, you want to be seeking advice from you guys first to say, well, what should I be paying myself? And is it worth me having a payroll at the moment? Because it's not for everyone. It gets to a certain point where it's like, right, okay, this is the best way now to sort of put it through on the payroll.
I guess it also depends on your skill set as well. If you've got a bit of payroll experience, whatever it might be from, and you might have had a business in the past, if you're starting a new business, you might think you could take it on.
Yeah.
But then also, as a new business owner, where's your time better spent?
Yeah,
it's probably better spent doing what you do best, which is not payroll probably.
Even if you outsource, if you've got a team, unless everyone's on set salaries and nothing ever changes, the owner or whoever the designated person is on the client side still has to get involved to be able to provide the information. So there's always an element of involvement, but you don't want to be sat there inputting data, checking legislation, making sure that people are enrolled in pensions when they should be. You don't want to be wasting your time doing that if you can avoid it.
Just remember, our payroll department had like post-it notes everywhere of don't forget this next week, and because clients would ring or we'd take a call and we'd let them know, or they'd be on the lunch or whatever, and then the client would ring again the following week. They've not done this. Oh.
You have to have robust systems. That post-its scare me. We're not allowed them. But I mean, that's why,
old school.
Yeah, very old school. But we have systems for that now. So, everything we have comes in via email, it gets logged, and we do everything possible to not avoid someone not getting a call back or something like that. But no post-its on.
I just remember the payroll year end for us, like after the payroll year, and it'd just be chaos.
April
year ending all the payrolls.
Yeah,
but still
payroll
having
team used to lock the door, didn't they? And just leave us alone.
Yeah. No, year end's not too bad. It's more April.
I used to try and book that week off. So
we're not
allowed to get involved.
I wish I could do that. No, I think April was the hardest month, just where it's the new tax year and setting up new tax years, and then national minimum wage changes, and if you haven't got people's working patterns on file, then you're having to query it. So April's hard.
I suppose the other side of the service that we can deliver via Payroll Sorted is getting that information from the payroll back into your general ledger, into your accounting records. That's something that just happens instantly, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Through
APIs
these days, which is brilliant. If you can configure that posting, it's just there.
Yeah.
So you've always got that payroll journal in there.
Yeah, I don't even know when we started doing APIs. A couple of years ago. I think if we had them as long as we've been working with you, or did you start off with journal CSV files?
I think we were journal CSVs.
And then switch to API. So that feels fairly recent, that not recent, like the last few years, but that has streamlined things a lot, I think, in the partnership with you and other accountants like you, where you're not waiting. We're sending them at the end of the month, and it's very quickly getting into zero, which is then allowing you to do what you need to do, which is definitely a more streamlined approach to it than having to go and grab CSV.
Download the historical summary.
That's right.
And have to put it all in.
Yeah, I think when you first started doing APIs, it was sort of done once a month, wasn't it? Now it seems to happen.
Well, we do the weekly ones weekly. You've got quite a lot of weekly payrolls, haven't you?
We do,
I think, we do them every Friday, I think, now. So you get the weekly postings. But there's a hell of a lot of them. I think we do something like 800 API posts.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Maybe more than that if you include the weeklies, but it's a lot. It's a lot.
But that then gives a business owner the opportunity to look at his profitability in real time, so you can, if that weekly's gone in on a Friday, how have I done this week? Yeah, it's as instant as that, which is brilliant for them.
And people actually expect it now as well. So if the API is late for any reason, like sometimes the connection drops or we've lost our access temporarily, people really feel it because they're so used to having the instant information there. And it does drive business decisions, doesn't it? So if you want to be advising clients on what they should be doing, it's difficult if you haven't got the information related to the payroll in there. So it's become quite important.
I suppose one thing that clients might worry about is if you've got payroll software and you're running your own payroll, you've got access to your employee details, P60s, P45, historic information that you can go back and analyse, or we as accountants probably do that more than the client does, but certainly clients will do it. You don't give up that access, do you, by outsourcing your payroll?
No, not at all. Most clients with employees choose to have a portal. So they would have their portal with all their employee information on there, P60s, all the historical pay slips. If they want to, they can run certain reports in there, or they just contact our team and say, right, this is what information I need, and we just export the reports for them. So it's maybe not as instantaneous as if you were doing it yourself for certain bits of information, but you've still got access into it. It's still your information at the end of the day, and you can access it as and when you like.
And if you chose to stop using the service, what happens then?
So it depends on the scenario. If they're going to a different accountant, or if they're taking it in-house, or they've how dare they? But no, then we would just hand over. So we literally would just give them like whatever they need. If it's the backup to the payroll, everything's going cloud-based now, so it's normally transferring things over or exporting so they can put them into their own software. So it's quite a simple process. It just a little bit of admin time to pull the reports out, but make it as easy as possible.
They're never going to be at risk of not having that information.
No, would never stop them getting their own information
just don't
back.
Leave.
Just don't leave, just stay forever.
And you were talking before about AWS, weren't you, where there was an outage, and so GDPR and digital trust are some things that we've talked about here in the Ledger Lounge. All of the systems that you've got, I presume, are compliant along those lines. And
So obviously we use lots of different softwares, but we work on a hosted platform. So everything is hosted within our own Payroll Sorted environment. We use BrightPay, as you know, to process at the moment, but everything's going cloud-based. So we were just discussing this a minute ago, that there is a concern around everything being web-based. So it's a bit of a new world to us, and we're going to have to put something in place to figure out how we handle that going forward, because when the Amazon Web Services went down the other day, it was a bit of an eye-opener. Luckily, we're not all cloud-based yet, but there was a moment where we were like, oh, this is different. And pretty much every software now is going that way, so we have to put some things in place to make sure continuity.
I know we was affected by it, but it seemed to switch back on, didn't it, just before lunchtime, so that meant that no one could go to the pub on the Monday. No. I was cheering at home, so it was
there are many of us that do go to the pub.
I didn't miss out.
No, it is a worry though, isn't it? But then normally stuff comes back up pretty quickly. But it's like I said, it's changing constantly. It's never been an issue before because we were all based on a desktop application. So it's interesting times.
I suppose the other argument, the counter argument to that, is that if your server went down, you were absolutely screwed, weren't you?
That's true. That is true. It's never happened, but
and going back a long time, I remember that happening. Sorry,
another
trigger point.
Or like, I don't know, you'd have a power cut halfway through doing a reconciliation. You'd lose all your work.
That's right.
There's always been these challenges, but it is just a bit different.
It's a different challenge.
Isn't it? So it's all a new thing for us to start dealing with. Luckily, our problem, not yours.
Yes, the benefits of payroll outsourcing. To an accountant.
The benefits to us.
Well, it works for all parties, hopefully.
So I think as a small business owner, you probably need to be looking at, as well as setting the business up, if you're getting going, is what your payroll is. And I think, Nat, you mentioned earlier about it's about looking at the wider tax position. So do you pay yourself, is it £758?
Depends what you
or is it? There are so many different levels that you can put your pay in at that it really depends on individual circumstances, the business. So it's best to speak to your accountant.
Yeah, definitely.
Go through that and plan how you approach payroll. You
can always backdate it as well, can't you? Yeah. So, if you get halfway through the tax year and you're like, actually, we should have maybe put a salary through this year for the directors, you can always process it retrospectively. So I think having that conversation and then maybe seeing how things go and then making a decision at a later date is not...
Nice little tip, that, yeah.
Thank you. How do you position it with clients now, new clients? So when you get a new client on board and you say, we don't have our own in-house payroll team, but we work with Payroll Sorted.
Open, just completely just, this is what we do.
The transparency.
If you want us to do your payroll, this is how it'll work.
Yeah.
A bit like you want
the message to be.
It's one thing that we talked about at the beginning was about, not in this episode, but when we first started working with you, was about white labelling.
Yeah.
And I think that some outsource can white label and pretend to be the accountant, can't they?
Yes, they can. Yeah, we don't do that, but mainly because we want to be transparent. I think the key thing, people like to know where their data is these days, don't they? And who's handling it and who they're talking to. So it's not something we've ever offered. But I think the key thing when you're getting new clients on board, and it seems to work quite well, is just that you're just really open with them from day one and say, we don't offer payroll in-house, but we have a strong partnership with Payroll Sorted. And then it's all they've ever known, isn't it? So,
that's right, yeah. And as long as that relationship works, and our relationship works with Payroll Sorted, so there's no reason why it shouldn't work with the client.
No.
I don't think we've had any clients that have, well, at least I certainly haven't, where they've said, no, I don't want that, I'll sort the payroll out myself elsewhere, or they're all pretty much okay with it. And
it's definitely an easier conversation with a brand new client than the existing clients. It's obviously changed for them,
I don't know how many
it?
we had to move over to Payroll
Sorted.
Sorted.
80, I think.
Yeah.
80 at the time,
I remember even with you, when you first came over, it probably took 3 months, I'd say, for it to get to a level where it was just kind of business as usual. It was a lot of change for them. There was a lot going on. It was full on, and then go down a few months, and it's just what everyone knows and expects, and it's fine.
Yeah,
it just takes a bit of time, doesn't it?
Yeah. Hopefully we've covered quite a few of the issues that you might, as a small business owner, come across if you're thinking about payroll.
Price of payroll is actually something I'm quite passionate about, because I think people often don't want to pay for payroll. They will not value it enough, and so when you give a quote for services, they will go, I can get it cheaper somewhere else. But cheaper isn't always better. You can go for a smaller one-man band provider. You've got less continuity of service, you've got less expertise and knowledge. So I think sometimes people need to think a little bit more about how important the service is rather than what it is. If it goes wrong, it can really destroy the trust with employees. It can cause massive conflict. So you want to have, a strong process and provider in place that is going to minimise the chances of something like that happening, because it is so damaging.
Also, it comes back to the point I was making before about what's your time best spent doing. Yes, it's a charge. You are going to pay for the service. What do they call it? Opportunity cost, don't they?
Yeah.
So how much time am I spending? I'm not going to say wasting. Spending processing payroll that I could actually be doing something generating income for my business. Even just thinking about the business, developing strategies. I think you're just better off.
Also, the amount of time you must have to spend looking up stuff. So if you're not an expert in payroll and you hit something and you're like, why is it doing that? Or how does this work? And then spending time trying to research it to understand it. Whereas if you've got, someone that you're working with for it, you can just ask them those questions and not waste your time.
But the big one's holiday pay.
I hate holiday pay. Let's not talk about it. We've been through a lot with holiday pay. It's having clarity, I think, with the client as well as what's in their contracts with holiday pay. I think that's a really important thing, because I think in the past we've been guilty of maybe taking a payroll on and they're like, this is how we do holiday pay. And we've carried on doing it that way. And it's only later down the line when holiday pay has become more popular, when we were really like, no, we have to actually have a set process of how we're doing this, because we saw ACAS told us different things, didn't they? HMRC told us different things. So holiday pay is one that you have to be very careful. They had a HR
advisor as well. So I think we got 3 different views from 3 different people.
All given the same information, all came back with something different on how it should be calculated.
Oh, gosh, that must have been so frustrating. You just want an answer, don't you?
Yeah, it was. We had fun with that.
Thank you for joining us today, Natalie. It was a great conversation.
It was
all
really
about payroll.
Yes.
Thank you for having me.
I've got pay slips swirling around in my head. Thanks for listening.
And if you are interested in outsourcing your payroll, even just exploring the options, give us a shout, drop a message in the comments on the podcast, or contact us through our discovery page on www.jamesscott.com. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
The Ledger Lounge is brought to you by James Scott Accountants in Oldham, Greater Manchester. Please like, rate and subscribe wherever you listen to the show. To find out how James Scott can help you build a better business, visit jamesscott.com. This podcast is a QPod production. Visit kupod.co.uk for more information.